Jimin Park adjusted his silk tie as he sank into seat 2A, the leather cushions of first class embracing him like an old friend. Outside the small window, Seoul's glittering skyline faded into darkness. His tablet displayed the quarterly reports. That would make or break tomorrow's merger talks in Tokyo. Asteroid mining wasn't just business anymore, it was humanity's future among the stars, 3 rows back. Hannah Kim smoothed her Navy uniform and checked her watch. Flight KF-7 was her favorite route, smooth and predictable. She'd been flying international for 8 years, long enough to read passengers like open books. The businessman in 2A looked stressed. Probably another corporate deal. She made a mental note to offer him extra coffee during service as they climbed through 35,000 feet. Hannah's trained eye caught something odd on the instrument panel near the galley. The electromagnetic readings were spiking erratically, dancing across the display like a heartbeat gone wild. She frowned, tapping the screen. The numbers made no sense. Captain Yoon's voice crackled through her headset. "Hannah, are you seeing these readings back there?" "Yes, sir." "Never seen anything like it." She glanced round the cabin. Most passengers were settling in for the 2-hour flight. Unaware of the strange data flooding their instruments, Jimin felt, at first, a subtle vibration in his seat that didn't match the plane's usual rhythm. He looked up from his tablet, noticing how the overhead lights seemed to flicker in an almost hypnotic pattern. Something was wrong. The aircraft lurched violently to the left. Passengers gasped as their drinks spill and carry-on bags tumbled. From overhead compartments, Hannah grabbed the nearest seat back, her heart racing. In all her years of flying, she'd never felt turbulence like this. Then she saw it, through the small cockpit window. Visible for just a moment between clouds was something that shouldn't exist. A massive shape, easily 3 times the size of their Boeing 777, moved parallel to their aircraft. Its surface wasn't metal or any material she recognized. It seemed to absorb light, creating a void against the star-filled sky. "Captain," she whispered into her headset. "There's something out there." Before Captain Yoon could respond, every system on the plane began failing at once. The lights died, plunging the cabin into darkness except for the eerie glow of emergency strips. The engine's steady hum became an irregular stutter. Passengers screamed as the plane dropped several hundred feet in seconds. Jimin's business instincts kicked in. This wasn't mechanical failure. The electromagnetic interference was too precise, too targeted. Someone or something was doing this deliberately. He unbuckled his seat belt and moved toward the front of the cabin, where the flight attendant was trying to restore order. "The instruments are dead," Hannah told him, her professional composure barely masking her fear. "Everything electronic just shut down simultaneously." "That's impossible," Jimin said. But even as the words left his mouth, he knew they weren't dealing with normal circumstances. His company's satellites sometimes experienced interference from solar flares, but this was different. This was controlled. The plane shuddered again, tilting at an impossible angle. Through the windows, Jimin could see they were descending rapidly toward a mountain range. The peaks looked like jagged teeth waiting to devour them. "Everyone, listen to me." Hannah's voice cut through the panic. Her training had prepared her for emergencies, but nothing like this. Assume crash positions now. Heads down, arms round your knees. The next few minutes stretched like hours. The plane spun and dropped, completely out of control. Hannah moved through the cabin with practiced efficiency, helping passengers prepare for impact while fighting her own terror. She caught glimpses of the mysterious dark shape through the windows. It seemed to be following them down. Dawn broke through the forest canopy as Jimin crawled out of the plane wreckage. His once pristine business suit now torn and stained with mud and blood. His Italian leather shoe squelched in the damp earth as he approached the alien crash site where Hannah was already waiting. Her flight attendant uniform equally disheveled, but her eyes sharp with curiosity. The alien craft was unlike anything from Earth's wildest science fiction dreams. Its hull curved in impossible angles that seemed to bend light round them, creating optical illusions that made him insize water when he stared too long. The metal, if it was metal, felt warm to the touch and hummed with residual energy. Careful, Hannah warned as Jimin reached toward a glowing panel. We don't know what kind of radiation this thing might be giving off, but Jimin's expertise in advanced materials told him something different. The energy signatures, he murmured, pulling out his damaged smartphone. Miraculously, its radiation detector still worked. They're similar to what my mining ships encounter in the asteroid belt. Exotic matter, but not harmful to humans. Hannah traced her fingers along a series of intricate symbols etched into what appeared to be the ship's control panel. The markings seemed to shift and flow like liquid mercury, responding to her touch with subtle color changes. These aren't random scratches, she said, her voice filled with wonder. Look at how they repeat in sequences. It's like a language, working side by side. They began to map out the alien vessel's interior. The ship was roughly triangular, about the size of a small house, with corridors that defied human understanding of architecture. Walls curved into floors without clear boundaries, and what looked like doorways led to rooms that seemed larger inside than the ship itself could contain. This is impossible, Jimin muttered, squeezing through an opening that should have led to empty forest, but instead opened into a vast chamber filled with floating holographic displays. Hannah followed him into the room, her mouth agape. The space inside is bigger than the ship outside. How is that even possible? The chamber's walls were covered with screens showing star maps, planetary data, and streams of information in the flowing alien script. But what caught their attention was a central display showing a familiar blue-green world rotating slowly in space. That's Earth, Hannah whispered. Red markers appeared across the planet's surface, highlighting major cities: Seoul, Tokyo, New York, London, Mumbai, all marked with pulsing crimson dots. Additional screens showed detailed military installations, population densities, and resource locations with frightening accuracy. Jimin's corporate mind immediately grasped the implications. These aren't exploration maps. This is an invasion plan. As they studied the displays, Hannah noticed something that made her blood run cold. Flight paths crisscrossed the globe, showing major airline routes with passenger loads and schedules. They've been watching our air traffic, learning our patterns. The alien technology seemed to respond to their presence. Screens activated as they approached, showing increasingly detailed information about Earth's defenses. Hannah watched in horror as military capabilities were listed alongside assessments marked in what looked like dismissive alien commentary. They think we're weak, she said, translating what she could understand from the visual data. Look at these numbers. They've categorized our weapons as primitive and our response capabilities as negligible. Jimin studied a display showing Earth's space asset satellites, the International Space Station, and various national space programs. The alien assessment was brutally simple. Humanity was rated as a Class II primitive species with minimal technological threat. They have no idea what humans are capable of when we're pushed, he said grimly. A new section of the ship's memory core activated, revealing surveillance footage from major cities around the world. The aliens had been watching Earth for months, maybe years, cataloging human behavior like scientists studying insects, but their observations focused only on surface activities. They had completely missed the deeper aspects of human nature. This is their mistake, Hannah said, pointing to footage of people helping each other during natural disasters, soldiers from different nations working together on peacekeeping missions, and scientists sharing research across political boundaries. They see only our technology, not our spirit. The data core revealed the invasion timeline. Multiple fleets were already en route to Earth, with the first wave expected to arrive within days. The plan was simple: disable Earth's communications, eliminate major population centers, and harvest the planet's resources while relocating surviving humans to work camps. We have to warn someone. Hannah insisted. Her training as a flight attendant, making her think of passenger safety on a global scale. Jimin was already calculating possibilities. Who would believe us? Hi, I'm a mining executive who found an alien spaceship in the forest. But even as he spoke, his mind was working through his extensive network of contacts, COs, government officials, military contractors, people who might listen if the evidence was compelling enough. My company has connections with aerospace defense contractors, he continued, and our mining operations use military-grade communication systems. If we can get some of this alien technology working, maybe we can prove what we're saying. Hannah nodded, remembering her own connections through the airline industry. International flights carry government officials, military personnel, intelligence agents. I know crew members en routes to every major capital. We could create a communication network that spans the globe. As they explored deeper into the alien ship, they discovered something unexpected. The craft's main computer was still functional, and incredibly, it seemed designed to interface with human neural patterns. When Jimin accidentally brushed against a control surface, holographic displays lit up around him, responding to his thoughts and emotions. It's reading your brain waves, Hannah observed with excitement. The aliens built their technology to work with human minds. They planned to use human slaves to operate their equipment. Then we can use their own technology against them, Jimin realized. They've given us the keys to their kingdom without even knowing it. Working together through the morning, they began to understand the alien ship's systems. Hannah's pattern recognition skills, honed by years of managing complex flight schedules, helped her decode the alien interface protocols. Jimin's engineering background allowed him to understand the ship's power systems and communication rays. By noon, they had established contact with the outside world using the alien ship's transmitter. But their first calls were met with skepticism and disbelief. It would take more than words to convince Earth's leaders that an invasion was coming. We need proof, Jimin said, downloading alien data files onto his phone. Hard evidence that can't be dismissed. Hannah was already thinking ahead. And we need allies, people in positions of power who can act quickly when they see the truth. As they worked to establish credible contact with Earth's defense networks, neither of them realized they were about to become the most important partnership in human history. Jimin found himself thinking about the asteroid belt, about the strange readings his mining ships sometimes detected in deep space, objects that appeared on sensors but couldn't be explained. His board of directors had dismissed them as equipment malfunctions. Now, he wondered if they'd been wrong. The impact came with tremendous force. Trees snapped like toothpicks. The aircraft carved a path through the forest. Metal screamed against rock and earth. Jimin felt himself thrown forward. Then everything went black when consciousness returned. His ears were ringing and his head throbbed. Emergency lighting cast. Strange shadows through the broken cabin. Most seats were empty to empty. He called out but heard only weak groans from a few other survivors scattered throughout the wreckage. Is anyone hurt? Hannah's voice came from somewhere behind him. She was alive, moving carefully through the debris. Jimin tried to stand, his legs shaky but functional. I'm okay. What about the others? Hannah's face was grim as she checked pulse points on motionless passengers. We lost too many, she said quietly. Maybe a dozen survivors total, most unconscious. They worked together in the dim light, checking on other passengers and trying to establish who was still alive. It was then that Jimin noticed the strange glow coming from outside the aircraft. "Look," he whispered, pointing through a shattered window dot about 200 meters away. Another crash site smoldered in the forest. But the twisted wreckage wasn't from any aircraft Hannah had ever seen. The metal, if it was metal, had an oily rainbow sheen that seemed to shift and move in the firelight. Strange symbols were etched along what might have been the hole, glowing with their own internal light. "That's not from Earth," Jimin said, stating the obvious truth neither wanted to accept. Hannah stared at the alien wreckage, her mind struggling to process what she was seeing. Whatever had brought down their plane was now lying broken in the forest beside them, and somehow she knew their real adventure was just beginning. The alien communication ray crackled to life as Jimin's fingers danced across the holographic controls. 3 days of trial and error had finally paid off. They could now broadcast on frequencies that human technology couldn't detect or jam. Hannah stood beside him. A list of airline emergency contacts spread across the alien ship's glowing surface. "Start with Captain Rodriguez in Madrid," she suggested, pointing to a name on her list. "His flight crew has connections with NATO command. If anyone can get through to military leadership, it's him." Jimin nodded, adjusting the transmission frequency. His voice echoed strangely through the alien communication system as he began. The call that would change everything. "Captain Rodriguez, this is Jimin Park from Terra Mining Corporation. I know this sounds impossible, but I'm calling from inside an extraterrestrial spacecraft." The response came through crackling static. "Who is this? How did you get this frequency?" "Listen carefully," Jimin continued, his executive training helping him stay calm under pressure. "Alien fleets are approaching Earth. We have maybe 72 hours before the first wave arrives. I'm sending you coordinates and proof through channels your government can verify." While Jimin handled the technical transmission, Hannah worked her own network. Her years of international flights had created connections spanning 6 continents, flight attendants, pilots, airport security chiefs, and airline executives, people who formed the invisible backbone of global transportation. "Kenji in Tokyo." She spoke into the alien transmitter. "This is Hanakim. Remember the emergency landing in Bangkok last year? I need you to trust me now more than ever." Her voice carried across the Pacific using technology that bent space itself. Within minutes, reports were flowing in from major airports worldwide. Unusual electromagnetic readings, radar contacts that disappeared without explanation, and commercial pilots reporting strange objects pacing their aircraft at impossible altitudes. The breakthrough came when Jimin contacted Dr. Lisa Chen, his company's chief astrophysicist at the Reservoir Observatory Replacement Facility. "The energy signatures match anomalous readings we've been tracking for months," she confirmed over the secure line. "If what you're saying is true, we can triangulate their approach vectors using our deep space monitoring network." But the aliens had made a fundamental miscalculation about human nature. Their invasion strategy was based on creating chaos and panic, assuming Earth's population would collapse into disorder when faced with superior technology. Instead, they found something completely unexpected: coordination on a scale they couldn't comprehend. Within 6 hours of the first confirmed transmissions, a network had formed that spanned the globe. Airline crews were reporting directly to military commands. Mining corporations were sharing satellite data with government agencies. Scientists from rival nations were combining research without regard for political boundaries. They studied our weapons, our armies, our governments. Hannah observed as reports flooded in from around the world. But they never understood that humans don't just fight with soldiers, we fight with everyone. In London, an air traffic controller named James was coordinating with the Royal Air Force using information provided by a flight attendant he'd met. During a layover in Mumbai, airline executives were working directly with the Indian Space Research Organization to track incoming alien vessels. In Sao Paulo, commercial pilots were retrofitting passenger aircraft with experimental detection equipment provided by aerospace engineers. The alien ship's sensors showed Jimin and Hannah something remarkable. Similar crash sites were appearing across Earth as the alien reconnaissance fleet suffered systematic failures. Scout ships that had operated undetected for months were suddenly being tracked, intercepted, and in some cases, captured intact. "Look at this," Jimin said, pointing to a tactical display showing North America. Calgary, Denver, Phoenix Survivor. Teams are activating alien technology just like we did. Each crash site was becoming a node in humanity's growing resistance network. A geology professor in Canada was working with airline mechanics to decode alien navigation systems. A group of passengers from a downed flight in Australia had partnered with mining engineers to reverse engineer alien power sources. The most surprising discovery came from a crash site in the Sahara Desert, where a team of oil workers and airline personnel had not only activated alien technology, but had successfully launched a captured scout ship. The footage, transmitted through the alien communication network, showed humans piloting an extraterrestrial craft with remarkable adaptability. Impossible. Hannah breathed, watching the video feed. They learned to fly an alien ship in 3 days. "That's what humans do," Jimin replied with growing confidence. "We adapt. We improvise. We take whatever tools we find and make them work." Reports continued streaming in from around the globe. A former military pilot working as a commercial airline captain had modified alien weapon systems to work with human aircraft. A team of aerospace engineers and flight attendants in Germany had discovered that alien shields could be integrated with Earth-based defensive systems. The aliens' own technology was becoming humanity's greatest weapon. Every captured ship revealed new secrets, and humans were proving remarkably quick at understanding and adapting alien systems. What should have been an easy conquest was turning into a nightmare for the invading forces. Their computers show they expected 90% of human civilization to collapse within the first 48 hours. Jimin read from the alien data files. Instead, "We're more organized now than before they arrived." Hannah smiled grimly as she coordinated with resistance cells on every continent. They thought a billionaire and a flight attendant couldn't work together. They never imagined what happens when 8 billion humans decide to cooperate. The alien fleet was still approaching, but Earth was no longer the helpless target they had planned to conquer. Humanity had found its strength not in individual heroes or superior technology, but in the simple truth that when faced with extinction, humans did what they did best. They worked together. As night fell over their forest crash site, Jimin and Hannah continued their broadcasts, knowing that somewhere among the stars, alien commanders were beginning to realize they had made a terrible mistake about the species they had chosen to invade. The transformed alien ship hummed with activity as holographic displays showed the approaching invasion fleet. 21 days had passed since the crash, and the forest clearing had become humanity's most important military installation. Jimin stood before a massive production screen, watching his factories across 3 continents churning out weapons that combined human engineering with alien technology. Production Line 7 in Seoul is operating at 340% capacity, reported his chief engineer through the alien communication system. The hybrid plasma rifles are rolling off the assembly line faster than we can ship them, Hannah moved between multiple communication stations, her flight attendant training proving invaluable for coordinating complex logistics on a global scale. Evacuation protocols are active in 247 cities worldwide, she announced. We've moved to 0.8 million people from primary target zones to underground shelters. The alien ship's interior had been completely transformed. Human technicians worked alongside captured alien manufacturing units, creating weapons that neither species could have developed alone. The ship's hull had been reinforced with Earth-based materials, while its power systems now ran on hybrid human-alien technology that was 3 times more efficient than either system alone. Incoming transmission from the Australian Defence Grid called out Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a former airline pilot who had become their chief technical coordinator. They've successfully integrated alien shield generators with their existing missile defense systems. The main display screen showed a real-time map of Earth's defenses. Every major city now had hybrid defensive systems created by teams of humans who had learned to operate alien technology with frightening speed. What had taken the aliens centuries to develop, humans had mastered and improved upon in just 3 weeks. Contact. Hannah's voice cut through the command center's chatter. Long-range sensors are detecting the main invasion fleet. They're dropping out of hyperspace near the moon. The screen filled with alien vessels, massive battleships that dwarfed anything in Earth's military arsenal. Hundreds of them, each one capable of destroying entire cities. But as the alien fleet approached, something unexpected happened. Earth's hybrid defensive systems activated simultaneously across the globe. Missiles powered by alien technology streaked toward the incoming ships, while energy shields that combined human innovation with alien engineering protected major population centers. They're not adapting to our modifications, observed Commander Park Sun-ho, a former Korean Air Force pilot who now led the Space Defense Squadron. Their countermeasures are designed for pure alien technology, not our hybrid systems. The first wave of alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere over major cities, expecting to find helpless targets. Instead, they encountered something that violated every principle of their invasion strategy: coordinated resistance using their own advanced technology. In New York, airline mechanics working with alien engineers had transformed commercial aircraft into fighter jets that could operate in both atmosphere and space. Former flight attendant May Wan led a squadron of modified passenger planes against alien bombers, using her knowledge of flight patterns to outmaneuver ships that were technically superior but predictable in their tactics. Alien bomber formation. Approaching Manhattan, Wan's voice crackled through the communication system. They're maintaining textbook attack patterns, predictable as a scheduled flight. Her squadron of converted airliners swept in from multiple directions, using tactics that no alien computer had ever analyzed. The bombers, programmed for conventional warfare, couldn't adapt to the chaotic creativity of human pilots flying hybrid aircraft. In Tokyo, Himen's former business rival, CEO Takeshi Yamamoto, had partnered with alien refugee survivors from the scout ships who had chosen to defect rather than participate in the invasion. Together, they had developed manufacturing techniques that allowed rapid production of hybrid vehicles that could operate on land, sea, air, and space. The defectors are providing crucial intelligence, Yamamoto reported from his mobile command center. They're telling us about alien weak points that their own military doesn't know exist. The alien invasion force, designed to overwhelm primitive human defenses, found themselves facing technology that was simultaneously familiar and completely alien to them. Human engineers had taken alien systems and modified them in ways that alien designers had never imagined possible. Look at this, Hannah said, pointing to a tactical display showing the battle over Europe. Our pilots are using alien engines. With human navigation systems, the combination is making them faster and more maneuverable than pure alien fighters. Former commercial airline pilot Captain Isabella Rossi led the European Defense Wing, coordinating with air traffic controllers who had become military strategists overnight. We're using civilian flight coordination protocols to manage military operations, she explained over the communication link. The aliens can't predict civilian aviation patterns because they don't understand commercial flight logistics. The turning point came when human forces began capturing alien command ships intact. Within hours of each capture, teams of technicians, engineers, and airline personnel were reverse engineering the vessels and integrating them into Earth's defense network. Captured alien command ship Delta 7 is now under human control, announced Dr. Kenji Nakamura, a former maintenance engineer who had become Earth's leading expert on alien propulsion systems. We're using their own command protocols against them. The alien fleet's rigid military hierarchy became a weakness when human hackers, working with defected alien technicians, began inserting chaos into their command structure. Orders became confused, formations broke apart, and the invasion force found itself fighting not just human defenders, but their own confused command systems. They built everything to work perfectly within their established parameters, Jimin observed, watching alien ships retreat from Earth's atmosphere. But humans don't operate within established parameters. We improvise, we adapt, we break the rules. Hannah smiled as she coordinated the global counterattack. They studied our military tactics, our weapons, our technology. But they never studied a flight attendant managing 300 passengers during turbulence, or an engineer fixing a broken system with whatever tools are available, the alien invasion force. Once confident in their superior technology and numbers, found themselves outmaneuvered by a species that had learned to turn their own advantages against them. The ships that had been designed to conquer Earth were now fleeing back toward the stars, carrying news of a defeat that would echo across the galaxy. As the last alien vessels disappeared into hyperspace, Earth's hybrid defense network remained active, ready for whatever might come next. Humanity had not just survived its first interstellar war, they had won it using the very weapons their enemies had brought to destroy them. The massive shipyard floating in Earth's orbit buzzed with activity as the final components of humanity's first interstellar vessel were installed. 6 months had passed since the failed alien invasion, and the transformation of human civilization had been nothing short of miraculous. The ship stretched nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull a seamless blend of human engineering and alien technology that gleamed like liquid starlight. Jimin stood in the observation deck of the orbital construction facility, watching robotic arms guided by human operators install the final hyperspace engines. His reflection in the reinforced glass showed a man who had changed as much as the world around him. The expensive business suits were gone, replaced by the practical uniform of the Interstellar Development Council. Final systems check complete, announced Chief Engineer Yuki Sato over the communication system. The Youth Horizon is ready for our maiden voyage. The United Earth ship Horizon represented everything humanity had learned from their unexpected visitors. Its bridge combined alien holographic displays with human, intuitive controls. The crew quarters were designed using alien space-folding technology, but maintained the comfort standards that humans demanded. Most importantly, its weapon systems were purely defensive. Humanity had decided their first step into the galaxy would be one of exploration, not conquest. Hannah emerged from the tactical briefing room, carrying a tablet displaying first contact protocols that had been developed by teams of diplomats, linguists, airline personnel, and former alien prisoners of war. Her role as head of the First Contact Division had evolved from her natural ability to manage complex situations involving people from different cultures, skills that translated perfectly to interspecies diplomacy. The Centauri system probe data is fascinating, she said, joining Jimin at the observation window. 3 potentially habitable worlds. And preliminary scans suggest artificial structures on at least one of them. The probe missions had been humanity's first tentative steps into interstellar space. Using modified alien scout ships, automated missions had been launched to nearby star systems, gathering intelligence and preparing for the day when humans would follow. The results had exceeded all expectations. The galaxy was teeming with life, and most of it was nothing like the species that had tried to invade Earth. Captain Chen reports that crew integration training is complete. Hannah continued. Having alien defectors serving alongside human crew members has created some interesting dynamics. But nothing we can't handle, the crew of the Horizon reflected. The new reality of human space exploration. Former airline pilots worked alongside defected alien navigators. Mining engineers collaborated with alien technicians who had chosen to remain on Earth after the invasion failed. Even some of the alien prisoners of war had volunteered for the mission, eager to return to space and help establish peaceful contact with their former empire. Through the observation window, they watched as the Horizon's docking bays received their final cargo, diplomatic gifts from Earth to potential alien civilizations. Art, music, literature, and technology that represented the best of human creativity, alongside samples of alien innovations that humans had improved upon. The Galactic Council response finally came through, Jimin said, pulling up a holographic display that showed communication intercepts from deep space. Apparently, news of the failed invasion has spread across several star systems. Some species are curious about us, others are terrified. The failed invasion had sent shockwaves across the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire, which had launched the attack on Earth, was now in full retreat, their military reputation shattered by their defeat at the hands of a supposedly primitive species. More importantly, dozens of other species had begun attempting to make contact with Earth, some offering trade agreements, others seeking military alliances. The Crystalline Collective wants to establish a cultural exchange program, Hannah noted. Scrolling through diplomatic messages, and the nomad fleets are offering to share their star maps in exchange for our hybrid propulsion technology. Jimin smiled at the irony. 6 months ago, I was worried about quarterly mining reports. Now we're negotiating trade agreements with species from across the galaxy. The launch ceremony began as Earth's orbital defense platforms powered down, their weapons in a symbolic gesture of peace. Representatives from every nation on Earth had gathered in the observation galleries, watching as humanity took its first official step toward becoming an interstellar civilization. UES Horizon, you are cleared for departure, came the voice of Earth Control. Good luck, and remember you carry the hopes of 8 billion people with you. Captain Minole, a former Korean Air Force pilot who had distinguished himself during the invasion, took his position at the Horizon's command center. His crew of 200 represented 47 different nationalities and 3 alien species, all working together with the same spirit of cooperation that had saved Earth during the invasion. All stations report ready, Captain Lee announced, initiating hyperspace drive in T-30 seconds. Jimin and Hannah moved to the ship's main observation deck, where they would watch humanity's first hyperspace jump from inside the vessel itself. Around them, crew members from multiple species worked at stations that seamlessly blended human intuition with alien precision. You know, Hannah said as the countdown reached its final moments. When I was working that flight to Tokyo, I never imagined my passenger manifest would someday include alien refugees and interstellar diplomats. Jimin laughed, remembering the businessman who had been more concerned with merger deals than the infinite possibilities waiting among the stars. When I boarded your plane, I was thinking about asteroid mining profits, Now we're about to mine entire star systems and trade with civilizations that have existed for millions of years. The hyperspace drive engaged with a sound like singing crystal, and space round the horizon began to fold and twist. Through the observation windows, stars stretched into brilliant lines of light as the ship slipped into the higher dimensions that would carry them faster than light toward their destination. First hyperspace jump successful, reported the alien navigator, his crystalline features reflecting the swirling energies outside. Estimated arrival at Alpha Centauri in 14 hours, as the horizon streaked through hyperspace toward humanity's first diplomatic mission to another star system. Jimin and Hannah stood together on the bridge, watching the impossible beauty of faster-than-light travel. Round them, humans and aliens worked side by side, preparing for whatever wonders or challenges awaited them. The species that had attempted to conquer Earth had learned to late that humans possessed. Something more valuable than advanced technology: the ability to adapt, cooperate, and turn enemies into allies. Now, as Earth's children prepared to explore the galaxy, they carried that same spirit with them. Sometimes, Hannah observed, watching the stars dance around them, the most important meetings really do happen at 30,000 feet. Jimin nodded, thinking of all the impossible coincidences that had led them from a routine commercial flight to the bridge of humanity's first starship. The aliens thought they were ending our story. Instead, they gave us the tools to begin a new chapter. The U's horizon disappeared into the cosmic depths, carrying humanity's dreams toward distant stars where new adventures, new allies, and new challenges awaited. The invasion had failed. But in its failure, it had given humanity something even more precious than victory. It had given them the stars themselves, the end.